to touch it in different ways. You had to different, different results.
It was a P win.
He was having a good.
Meeting to order on Monday, April 3rd, 2017. I want to welcome everyone. Very glad to have with us tonight Pastor Shell Osmond of the Life Church of Smyrna Assembly of God at 4100 King Springs Road, who will come forward at this time and give our invocation and also lead us in the pledge of the flag. And Shell's a good friend of mine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council,
Yep.
if you'd like to join me in a moment of prayer, we'll bow our hearts together. Father, we're so grateful and humbled for the gift of life that you've given to us and eternal life through your Son. Thank you for this day. I thank you for our mayor and city council. I thank you, Lord, that they have the best interest of this city at heart. And I pray that as they convene together regularly, that the decisions they make would be guided by you and by your Spirit. Protect them, Lord, from all the voices that may have a personal agenda. And Lord, let always and every time each decision be one that would ultimately bring glory to your name and be for truly the betterment of this great community. We thank you for it, and I ask all of these things in the name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Mayor.
Just a note, this is spring break, and that's where council member Corky Welch is down somewhere on the panhandle. He had told us weeks ago he was be on spring break, so hope you're having fun. Agenda changes. Don't believe that we have any. Mayoral report, there's nothing there. Department head reports, Mr. Jones.
There we go. We have two department head reports tonight. The first one is from Ken Southerth, our Community Development Director, and he will be followed by Ms. Ann Kirk with Keep Smyrna Beautiful.
Thank you. I have 9 slides, so it won't be long. But I do want to give you sort of a status of everything that's happening within the department. As you can see on your screen, obviously we have the Georgia Tech study, and that's up for the proposed acceptance tonight. On the Spring Road LCI study, these are tentative dates. Staff is trying to take it to the Planning Commission for next Monday night's meeting, and then we would follow it up by bringing it to you on the 17th. Again, these may change depending on when we actually get the final product that we have been working with the consultants on. For the South Cobb STP study, we're shooting for the May 8th Planning Commission meeting, and then the Mayor and Council on May 15th. Comprehensive plan, as you know, has already started. We're calling it Guide Smyrna. We still have a couple citizen input sessions. The next one is there will be a booth at the Jonquil Festival on the 29th and 30th of this month. And then our final input session will be at the open house at Bronner Hall on June 8th. With regard to Belmont and Jonquil, the Belmont Physician Center is underway. The shell should be completed in August. Tenants should start their interior work in July. First occupants in that building are anticipated in October, and the building is approximately 67% leased. But I am told that they're working on other leases, and by the time the building is completed, it should be fully rented. With regard to Jonquil, obviously the Pacific Dental and Willie's are now open, and Nuke should begin working in July with a opening date in September, October of this year. The Jonquil out parcel, that building shell should be completed next month in May. First tenants in July. Again, that building is completely leased, but I have only been given 2 names, and we've got a credit union on the northern end of that building with a nail spa in the center. Smyrna Grove, remember there's 194 possible lots out there. 24 currently are under contract. They've closed 63. There are 3 models, so there are 90 lots out of the 194 have been accounted for. Wade's Restaurant on Concord Road, that construction we are told is on schedule. They are shooting to open midsummer of this year. Smyrna Heights Pavilion at the intersection of Concord and Dutton. They're in negotiation with tenants, but no leases have been finalized. The exterior walls are up and the bricking of the facade will begin shortly as the materials are on site. And there is, just to remind you, there is a sketch of what that building is to look like. Building permits, don't get freaked out that I've given you a spreadsheet here. The reason that I'm showing you this is really for the very bottom line. Between the bold and the green numbers. The green indicates our slower or lower months, which is fairly typical. The bold, obviously, which just take us up through March of this year. But over the last 2 fiscal cycles, you can see that we are busiest in January, February, March, and then July and August with April, May, and June left to be determined here. The real point I'm trying to show you here is that the fall, which is somewhat obvious, September, October, November, December are our lower months in terms of actually getting building permits. What they do is we may have a lot of rezonings on the second half of the year, and they'll start getting those plans together, get them through plan review, so then they're pulling those permits in that first quarter of the year and so forth. I just thought that was an interesting fact. Just to remind you all, there is a little bit of cyclical nature in our business. A lot of people think it's summertime. It's really fall for us with that. Special event parking, because we do have opening day today. So I thought it was appropriate. We actually have 4 areas that have registered. If I go from top of the screen to the bottom, Cobb Parkway Summit, which is a State Farm office. If you look in the red within the green boxes, that gives you the number of parking spaces that they can potentially use. So you have 38 there. The Pro Move, which is on the corner of Cumberland Boulevard and Cobb Parkway, is in Emerson Center for the commercial section. If you remember, Emerson Center is actually 2 tracks. The first track, the commercial track along Spring Road, is in Smyrna. The back track is in Cobb County. So I've been told that they're actually applying for Cobb County use of that property as well. But we have registered the commercial part in the city for that. And then finally, you've got the Holiday Inn Express, which actually was the very first one to come in. So there are 4 sites within Smyrna so far. Finally, not that I'm going to go through all of this, but wanted to leave you with, again, because baseball season started today and the park is around the corner to officially opening for its first game. Just remind people that Cobb County, if you go to cobbcounty.org, and then within that you go to their directory and then go to SunTrust Park, you will get a lot about the park, but one of them is frequently asked questions. So for those who are watching online with this. I would encourage you to do that, and it'll give you, you know, how do I get there? Where can I park? How can I find a map? Should I prepay? When do the lots open? Can I Uber? All of the stuff that you would want, they have put together on the county website. So I felt like it was appropriate to just encourage people to do that, and I think that will help ease some traffic issues as well, especially if you already have your parking permit in hand. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but that is the status of the Community Development Department as of April 2017.
Thank you, Ken. Any questions of Ken? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And next we'll have Miss Ann Kirk will come tell us about the state of recycling and other such things as Keep Smyrna Beautiful works on.
This is a new, just how we,
If you just want to move through it, just press the
oh,
forward.
got it. Great. Good evening. As our Bring One for the Chipper event, which was supposed to have been on January 7th, was canceled because of predicted winter weather non-event, we went on to our next event on Martin Luther King Day on January the 16th. We had 60 volunteers at Smyrna Elementary School. That's a huge campus, and we did not even finish it, but we bought all of the decorative wood mulch that Home Depot had. We had bought 424 bags. That was approximately 8 truckloads and 8.5 tons of wood mulch that was spread that day. Yeah, I broke it. Hit that accidentally. Okay. There. Great. We had a real community event on this day, and we want to thank Sean Murphy and his friends for bringing trucks and trailers over to Home Depot to help pick up the mulch. Angie Bolton for bringing her truck and making several runs. Georgia Power brought us 15 volunteers, and we also had many volunteers from Smyrna Elementary parents, staff, and students, including Brett Ward, the principal, who was there the entire day. And we also had several Kennesaw State University students. Next, we went to Washington, D.C. on January the 24th to receive a Sustained Excellence Award, and only 3 of these were given out nationally, and we were very pleased to be recognized. This award reflects the hard work of all of our volunteers for fiscal year 2016. Our winter Adopt-A-Mile was January the 28th. We had 92 volunteers representing 16 groups. They cleaned 20 miles of roadway and collected 67 bags and gave 235 volunteer service hours. For Arbor Day, we had approximately 30 people attend a class on tree planting and care by senior urban forester Joe Burgess, and this event helps to get us our Tree City status. And we received our 14th year of Tree City status in December. We're working on number 15. We had 2 Smyrna Community Garden work days, and we want to thank the Smyrna First Methodist volunteers for sending us a team of 12 people on March the 4th. If you look at that big pile of gravel, that was a lot of weight of gravel. We had 3 of those on site, and they spread 46 tons of slate mix over, and that's been spread over the last 2 months. We have about half a pile left to go. So you can really tell the difference that this is making. We had our Keep Smyrna Beautiful annual awards dinner on March the 23rd, and this is a group of our junior ROTC cadets from Campbell High School who volunteer for the Adopt a Mile program. We had over 100 people attend that event, and we had Mr. Jim Nordmeyer from Owens, Illinois International as our speaker. Our last shredding event was on March the 25th at the Wolf Center. We want to thank Calandra Financial Group for sponsoring this event and paying for the chipper services. We had the largest turnout that we've ever had for this event, almost double the normal turnout, and they helped Calandra helped to promote the event, but also we were the first one after the first of the year, and I think everybody's getting ready for tax season and calling out things they don't want anybody else to see. Our next shredding event, because we're already getting calls about this, in Cobb will be at Jim Miller Park on Callaway Road, April the 29th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. There's a 10-box or 100-pound limit, and this is being put on by Keep Cobb Beautiful. The next one here in Smyrna, we usually try to plan these 6 months apart, so we will plan one for September, October. Upcoming events for us are our Great American Cleanup on April the 22nd, which is coincidentally Earth Day. It will be from 8 a.m. until noon at Tolleson Park Pavilion, and we will be hosting our Adopt a Mile cleanup for the quarter, plus a few other projects. We've got a big one going on at Green Acres Elementary. We're really excited about that, and Chuck Camp's daughter Camilla is hitting that up along with Ashley Mize. So we're excited to work with them. This is our annual volunteer picnic event and free t-shirts. And all council and staff are welcome to attend. It's a fun event. Another upcoming event is our 9th annual garden tour on May the 20th. You'll have access to 5 private gardens, the Taylor Bronner House Tea Room with live music and refreshments, and the Smyrna Elementary School garden, and a fabulous plant sale. The tour tickets are $15 in advance and $20 the day of the tour. It's a great Mother's Day gift. The tickets will be available at Backyard Feed and Seed, Love Street, Vickery Hardware, the Recycling Center, and the Community Center. And finally, our Smyrna Fresh Market will open on May the 6th. It will be Saturdays, 8 a.m. until noon, just as we've always done through September, in the Smyrna First Baptist Church parking lot. We have free live music in partnership with the Smyrna Arts and Cultural Council, great fresh vegetables and fruits, honey, eggs, sauces, all kinds of things. King of Pops is there. This year we will have free chair massages, and we have a new featured local artist each week in cooperation with the Smyrna Arts and Cultural Council. So we're trying to promote good eating and good thinking in Smyrna. And thank you for keeping Smyrna beautiful. This is my contact information. Any questions?
Never wanted to be a chair before, but I would like to be a chair with that free massage.
Come on out. Thank you.
Ann.
Escape.
Is that it, Mr. Jones? Yes. Item 5 is land issues, zonings, and annexations. We have nothing there. Item 6 is previous licenses. We have nothing. Item 7 is formal business. A 2017-118, acceptance of Smyrna Gateway Studio report. A land use market and financial analysis of potential impact from the Brave Sun Trust Park and the battery development. Mr. Jones, a background.
Mayor, last year the Mayor and Council approved a contract with Georgia Tech to undertake a land use market and fiscal analysis for the area in Smyrna immediately adjacent to the Battery and SunTrust Park. The report was completed by a graduate student studio at Georgia Tech's School of City and Regional Planning, along with a couple of other enterprises. The report explored development impacts and opportunities along Spring Road corridor as it trends down and intersects with Cobb Parkway. We had an expanded presentation on Thursday at the Committee of the Whole meeting by the professor that led the group, and Matt and Anna were both there, and I believe they're here tonight to give you a summary of that presentation.
Ken Sudrith.
Mike did such a good job at introducing. I won't say too much more, but Matt and Anna, as graduate students, are here to give you a much more condensed version of the study. But as I said Thursday night, I'm very pleased, not only with the results that we have, the fact that they challenged us and we challenged them. I thought it was an excellent report, but also the fact that you all supported this, which allowed us to at least take and begin to think about certain concepts, even with the Spring Road and the comprehensive plan stuff that I've referenced earlier. So with that said, I'll introduce, who's going to go first? Anna's going to go first.
Hi, my name is Anna Nord, and this is Matt Bedsel. We're here representing the Georgia Tech Smyrna studio. Do I hit this to play it? Okay, perfect. At the end.
All right, thank you very much for that presentation. What I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, quite like we're to the point, quick. No, we want to thank you for inviting us to present this here. We had a lot of fun working on this project, and it was a really good learning experience for us. So, as Michael and Ken had mentioned, we were employed to look at the Spring Road corridor and how the city of Smyrna can absorb the development and the new development and the expected population growth from that development. And we were looking at different ways that the city could address walkability, bikeability, and really make it a very attractive place to live. We worked with the Sizemore Group and Noel Consulting to reach out to the public and get a lot of input on what their vision was and where they saw Smyrna in 10 years or in 5 years. What we really heard was that they really loved the city and they loved the historic character. And a big part of it was that they wanted to protect and conserve the existing neighborhoods, but that they also felt that there was a lot of opportunity for connectivity for all modes of transportation. So whether that's biking, walking, driving in your car, or taking the bus, they wanted more options. And they also wanted to have development that responded to the Braves Stadium, but like I said, preserved the character, so maybe transitioned through. So our initial approach to it, we looked at the core region. So if you look on the screen, this is the area, and I'm sure you're all familiar, that's right across from the Braves Stadium. We wanted to address connectivity in this space, and so we looked at breaking up the super blocks and different ways in which we could bring in new roads and access to that area. In the plan, it details a lot of different cross sections and a lot of different options for what streets might look like in that core area. The plan looks a lot at pedestrian crossings and making this core development really pedestrian and walkable friendly. And so it proposes some bridges to really connect and transition from the Braves Stadium to the city of Smyrna. And then also highlight specific areas that we need to really pay attention to with pedestrian crossings. And with this, I'm going to pass it over to Matt, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, this is the easy part. So beyond just like the entire area for connectivity, we really wanted to focus on kind of bridging Cobb Parkway and leveraging the growth that the Braves are going to bring to the area and bringing across to Smyrna and doing it in a pedestrianized fashion. So above, you can see, I guess on your screens, Jonquil Street, which is a new pedestrianized crossing that would cross Cobb Parkway. And beyond just the street connections, we also wanted to bring a new land use plan. And so we proposed 4 different zones. And each kind of, I guess, the idea is to preserve and protect the residential neighborhoods while also building up towards a concentrated development near the Braves Stadium, which is in the red area up there. We call that the Bridge District. So we wanted to also expand Smyrna's park system. We looked about expanding Jonquil Park over across the street from Spring Road over to the elementary school that's across the street there, and creating a large park that would serve as a barrier between some of the new growth and some of the residential single family that's already in the area. And part of this too is that we wanted to create bike and pedestrian connectivity between the single family neighborhoods and kind of bring that towards this more concentrated growth near the Braves Stadium. And we introduced a series of bike and pedestrian paths to increase connectivity. As well as introducing bus rapid transit stations that would go to both stations in Sandy Springs and the perimeter area, as well as near Midtown. In addition to the BRT, we also proposed a local transit station that would connect the Market Village with the Braves Stadium. And the whole idea here is to create a new zoning framework, be able to tie the community into something that's growing, something that's exciting for Smyrna, while also preserving the wonderful character of this community, and doing it incrementally with a long-term vision. And that's the plan. So thank you very much, y'all. We really enjoyed working with the community, and it's been great.
Good deal. Thank you so much. And I know Ken's going to wind this up. If somebody wanted to review that in detail, where do they go to they go to one of our sites, Ken?
Did you read my notes?
No?
That's exactly what I was going to tell you.
Okay, good. Then you're slowing down, if I know your notes.
The whole report is divided in different sections. I mean, there's land use and there's fiscal analysis and impact and so forth. But it's over 400 pages when you put all those sections together. But once you do what you want to do tonight with this, then we will put it online under the community development homepage so that people want to view that. It'll be easy for them to do.
I think for us, just thanking the folks from Georgia Tech and Sizemore Floyd and putting all the long hours and getting all the information gathered, that we appreciate that. I think people will be sort of very interested to see what the whole plan is. So, I don't know if there's any other discussion. Mr. Stoner?
Well, I just want to thank the folks from Georgia Tech, and hopefully this is a good omen in the sense of this study. As the mayor has too, and several folks on this council, we have seen many studies over many years, and I have to say this was a very thorough study. I think we got more than we expected, which is a nice surprise. And I want to thank the students, obviously, who worked on this from Georgia Tech. They did an excellent job, and I know there's more than just you two. But hopefully it's a good omen for the additional studies we're about to see here in the next few weeks, next few months. Thank you again.
I do want to say somewhere there's, I think, a 1952 study that Georgia Tech did for the city of Smyrna. Somewhere, Mike Terry, I think, came up with that. Do y'all know about that? Y'all may have just copied it and given it to us in 2016. That'd be good on your part. Okay. All right. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it. Item B under formal business, CON 2017-0, approval of the City of Smyrna to continue as subrecipient of the Cobb County Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, and authorize the mayor to sign the 2017 subrecipient agreement documents. Mr. Jones, the background.
Mayor, this is an annual document that allows Cobb County to continue the administration of funds and reporting to the Housing and Urban Development on behalf of the city. The city's preliminary funding for 2017 is $194,401.40.
Mr. Stone, nope, I'm sorry. That is Mr. Fennell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's always great to receive money, and this is a grant program that we administer every year, as was noted. It's nearly $200,000 in the current format for this year, and I move approval of CON 2017-01. Approval of the City of Smyrna to continue as a subrecipient of Cobb County Community Development Block Grant CDBG program to authorize the mayor to sign the 2017 subrecipient agreement documents.
Second.
Motion is second to
I could get on there.
approve this CDBG subrecipient agreement. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote.
And I actually would like to say something real quick about
Okay.
CDBG. You might have heard a little bit about CDBG in the national news lately. Some communities do use CDBG grant funds to fund programs like Meals on Wheels. We use it in Smyrna. We've used it to renovate and update and build the Wolf Center. We've used it to add the all-access playground down at Cobb Park and to renovate playgrounds throughout the city. And it's specific to certain areas with lower incomes, areas with certain populations like seniors or children. It's been a phenomenal program for Smyrna, and I do hope it is a program that continues. One of the things that I like about the CDBG program, the block grant program, is that it is our tax dollars coming back to us, and we can spend them for things that we otherwise might not be able to pull from the general fund, like things that aren't necessities, like sanitation, like public safety, but things that sure are nice to have when you are building a community that serves every citizen. And I truly hope that CDBG funds remain a resource that we in Smyrna can continue to take advantage of in the coming years.
Agreed.
Any other comments?
We did last year. I think we took advantage with the Cobb Douglas Public Health in supporting their mission as well.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please vote. It's approved 6-0. Item C, 2016-116, approval of the reappointment of the Downtown Development Authority DDA members for the 2017-2018 term to begin April 2017 for the following members: Kevin Drawl, Jim Delmer, Larry Freeman, Kimberly Gangemi, Travis Lindley, Diane Raisin, and Jason Sleever, with Mayor Max Bacon serving as chairman. Terms expire April 2018. Not much of a background on that. It's the annual reappointment. Mr. Doug Stoner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to do this as a former member of the Downtown Development Authority. I served 25 years as the vice chair, along with the mayor, who's always the chairman. And happy to serve with several of these folks for many years. And I'm more than happy to go ahead and make the motion for the approval of the reappointment of the Downtown Development Authority members for the 2017-2018 term to begin April 2017 for the following members: Kevin Drawl, Jim Dillner, Larry Freeman, Kimberly Gangemi, Travis Lindley, Diane Raisin, and Jason Saliba, with Mayor Max Bacon serving as chairman. The term will expire April 2018. That's 2017-116.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote. It's approved 6-0. Item D, 2017-108, request for approval of the award RFP 17-021 to the lowest bidder, BM&K Construction, Inc., in the amount of $2,720,871.73 for the construction of Fire Station 2 located at 642 Concord Road. Authorize the mayor to sign any related documents. Mr. Jones, the background.
Mayor, this item was tabled from a previous council meeting. Several of the council members had expressed some concern over the disparity between the budget that we had and the SPLOST and the cost that came through. I think we've gotten those issues resolved, but this project is part of the 2016 Smyrna SPLOST project list, and it was a request to replace the Smyrna Fire Department's oldest station, Fire Station 2, located on Concord Road. That facility was built in the 1970s. This project was put out to bid after design, and we've received 6 very tight bids from qualified contractors. The lowest qualified bidder was BM&K Construction at $2,720,871.73. To give you an idea of how those bids were spread, the highest of the 6 bids was just under 3.2, so it was very tight bidding. And the recommendation is for approval.
Mr. Derek Norton, who chairs Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The reason that we tabled this, as Mike Jones said, the placeholder that was put for this station in the SPLOST was $2 million, and then when the low bid came in at 2.7, a little over 2.7 million, we all thought it deserved a little more scrutiny, a little more attention. You know, our job up here is to be good stewards of your tax money, and so we asked some questions, and I'm satisfied with the answers that we got. The $2 million was based upon construction costs for Fire Station 5 several years ago, and that was a one-story building. This is a two-story. We're in a different market now than we were several years ago. Increased construction cost, upwards of 35%. So I'm satisfied at the results, the answers to all of our questions, and I'm going to recommend that we go forward with this. Is there any other questions? I know Chief Acree is here if anybody has any discussion or any questions on this item. All right, if not, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 7D, 2017-108, request for approval to award RFP 17-021 to the lowest bidder, BM&K Construction Incorporated, in the amount of $2,720,871.73 for the construction of Fire Station 2, located at 642 Concord Road, and authorize the mayor to sign any related documents.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this bid award. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote. Anybody holding out? Okay, there it comes. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read it. 5, 4, and 1 abstention, Ms. Wilkerson. Okay, that's 5-1. Item E on the agenda is 2016-126, authorize acquisition of real property by all lawful means for improvements to Windy Hill Road. The authorization includes adopting a resolution and declaration of taking for each parcel. Mr. Jones, the background, please.
Mayor and council, bear with me. The city attorney's threatened me with ad-libbing this, so I have to read it verbatim. Authorize the acquisition of real property by all lawful means for improvements to Windy Hill Road. This authorization includes adopting a resolution and declaration of taking for each parcel. The following parcels are authorized to be acquired through such declaration of taking, and either the mayor or mayor pro tem are authorized to execute such documents and all other documents incident to these acquisitions. The property is situated adjacent to the existing right-of-way and within an area stretching from its intersection with Atlanta Road to its intersection with South Cobb Drive. 615 Windy Hill, parcel 40. 901 Windy Hill, parcel 15. 907 Windy Hill, parcel 14. 925 Windy Hill, parcel 13. 825 Windy Hill, parcel 20. 815 Windy Hill, parcel 21. 675 Windy Hill, parcel 33.
I'm going to ask that Mr. Councilmember Terry Nulowich handle this issue.
Yes, I am happy to bring this issue forward tonight. Windy Hill Boulevard has been an ongoing project that began several years ago when the voters in Smyrna and throughout the county voted to approve the SPLOST notebook, and this is one of the major projects that is happening in Smyrna. So this is a continuation of this. Now, as I make this motion, Mr. Cochran, I'm assuming I will also need to read the entire thing verbatim, so I will do that as well. Yes. So at this time, I do move to approve item E 2017-126. This is to authorize the acquisition of real property by all lawful means for improvements to Windy Hill Road. This authorization includes adopting a resolution and declaration of taking for each parcel. The following parcels are authorized to be acquired through such declaration of taking, and either the mayor or mayor pro tem are authorized to execute such documents and all other documents incident to these acquisitions. The property is situated adjacent to the existing right-of-way and within an area stretching from its intersection with Atlanta Road to its intersection with South Cobb Drive. They are 615 Windy Hill, parcel number 40, 901 Windy Hill, parcel number 15, 907 Windy Hill, parcel number 14, 925 Windy Hill, parcel number 13, 825 Windy Hill, parcel number 20, 815 Windy Hill, parcel number 21, 675 Windy Hill Road, parcel number 23.
Second.
Your motion is second to authorize the acquisition of real property. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote. That's approved 5-1 with Ms. Wilkerson voting against that motion. Item 8 is commercial building permits. We have none. Item 9 is consent agenda. Mr. Jones, will you please read the consent agenda for council's approval?
Yes, sir, Mayor. There are 6 items for your consideration tonight on the consent agenda, and I will just note that item A was some minutes that were not acted upon by the mayor and council at its last meeting and have been added to this consent agenda. Item A is approval of the March 6, 2017 mayor and council meeting minutes. Item B is approval of mayor and council meeting minutes for March 20th, 2017. Item C is approval of the mayor and council pre-council meeting minutes for March 20th. Item D is approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes for March 16th, 2017. Item E is award of RFP 17022, the Access Control Project, to the lowest bidder, LMI Systems, Inc., for $137,318, and authorize mayor to execute any related documents. And the final item, item F, is the approval to use council chambers for Forest Hills Neighborhood Association meetings that will be held on Wednesday, April 12th and Wednesday, April 26th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Councilman Stoner's ward.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion is second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor of the motion, please vote. It's approved 6-0. Committee reports will start tonight. Mr. Derek Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report this evening. I do have 2 announcements. Upcoming neighborhood meetings. Afton Downs, we'll have our meetings Sunday, May 7th at 5 p.m. And I think we're doing a barbecue. And then on Tuesday, May 9th, Farmstead HOA at 6:30. So I look forward to seeing you all there. With that, I yield. Thanks.
Ms. Andrea Bluestein.
I don't have a formal report, although I do have an observation. Despite a lot of trepidation last week, Friday night really wasn't that bad. But then the stadium was only half full, and not many people used Spring Road, and everyone was totally distracted with what had happened over on the interstate across town. So I'm hoping for the best. So let's keep our fingers crossed. It was a livable experience. Thank you.
Ms. Terry Nullowich.
Yes, we are fortunate in many ways to live along the I-75 corridor, but I do know there are lots of people in Smyrna who commute to Buckhead, the Lenox Square area, parts of Midtown that are a little bit trickier to get to than they were a week ago. And I would like to remind everyone that the Holmes MARTA station is about a 15-minute drive away. They have a lot of parking spaces, and that's actually a very convenient way to get into the city via rail if that's something that you would like to do. And with that, I yield.
Ms. Susan Wilkinson.
Thank you. So I would like to add just something about Friday night. I was over at Costco and during that game period time, and it wasn't bad over there either, getting over there. I know the stadium was just half full, but it was, I actually saw a lot of people over there from Smyrna at Costco, and I decided it must be Friday night, date night. Anyway, with that, I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Doug Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any committee report, but I do have 2 announcements as it relates to the Forest Hills Neighborhood Association meetings on April 12th. What that is for members of the neighborhood, that is what we're going to call Zoning 101, working with our community development to explain how we do zoning and how that works. And then on the April 26th, that's specifically going to deal with a potential development on Hayes Drive that I've asked the developer to come and meet with the neighborhood. So just want to make those two announcements, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Ron Finley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee is about to start the budget process. The department heads have submitted their wish list, and the staff has begun to put the pegs in the proper holes, and we'll see what shakes out of there. But in the coming weeks, you'll hear discussion and presentation for public input on the budget, and I just wanted you to be aware of that and be looking forward to that. A week from tomorrow is the Cobb Municipal Association. That's sort of an inside baseball thing for us elected officials, but it's where the elected officials, all the municipal officials, gather every other month to share best practices among municipal officials, and we'll be in Kennesaw this month. And on a personal note, I wanted to just note we had a couple of friends pass from the scene recently. Many of you know Rhubarb Jones, the well-known on-air personality. He didn't live in Smyrna. He was a Paulding County and a West Cobb guy most of his life, but many of us knew him personally, and he passed away with a heart attack rather suddenly, and his funeral's this week. And also, I just wanted to note, as I did at a recent meeting, that this room is a little bit emptier today because of a civic participant that sat in this room every time we met and downstairs every time we met, and we'll miss him. Dave Brown, thank you for your service to the city, being a loyal citizen.
Mr. Jones, anything? Yes, sir. Mr. Cochran. Ms. Graham. Heather be thy name. We have nothing under show cause hearing, and there's no one that signed up for citizens input. Though I think we've got a scout here. It's either being punished or he's getting a badge.
Getting a badge.
You're getting
Very appreciative of the chance to be here.
Good deal. Good deal. You want to come up and say anything to the audience?
Fiddle can explain why we're not going to do that.
I'm reluctant to give Mr. Fennell the microphone.
I just noted that a national poll cited recently that of the top 10 fears people had, the top two were fear of dying and fear of public speaking. Guess which one came first? Yes. And so at a funeral, one could surmise that most people would rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. So we thank you for being here, and thank you for serving as a scout, and hopefully this punches your ticket for the badge. Thank you.
I thought taxes was one of the biggest fears. Good deal. Thank y'all for being here, both you and your dad. If there's no other business to be brought before this body, then I declare this meeting adjourned at 7:48.